Good day everyone. By the way, I am Jeneline Bisahol, taking up Bachelor of Physical Education. Implication on the legal basis of teaching PE and health in the K-12 curriculum. My implication on the legal basis of teaching PE and health in the K-12 curriculum is that we have to promote our healthy lifestyle. Introducing physical education at a relatively early age sets a lifelong precedent. A child who partakes regularly in physical education during their developing years is far more likely to continue to incorporate an exercise regime into their adult lifestyle. Implication on the implementing rules and regulation on the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. According to Kasama Marvin Andrew, that the researcher used the country of Vietnam as a model for this research, as the history of their education is closely related to that the Philippines. They just reformed earlier, as the Philippines reform came about 20 years after. During the 19th century, Spain was the first to decree education reform in the Philippines. It was followed by the Americans and Japanese. Our basic education system is influenced by three cultures: the Spanish, American, and Japanese. Each of the occupants had their own system of education implemented, which the Philippines was able to adapt. In the year 2000, there were two major reforms in the Philippines basic education. First was the inclusion of kindergarten as part of the basic education in the Philippines by making it mandatory before entering grade 1. It can also be concluded that the enactment of Enhanced Education of Act 2013 is prompted by the provision of the Constitution. The poor educational standard in the Philippines contributed to transform the Philippine basic education, same with the other countries adopting the K-12 system. However, the biggest factor of the reforms in education was not statistic nor the growth society, but it can be inferred that these reforms was because of the current administration the Philippines had during the changes. In the Pinoy administration, there are at least 6 laws passed with changes or added something with the basic education. The major changes were the mandatory kindergarten through Kindergarten Act of 2011 and the increase of basic education years from 10 years to 12 years through Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. The major reform in the Philippines was as can be seen by the people's naked eye, as the government failed to show the reason for these changes. The public had a notion that these changes was due only to the fact that other countries have K-12 system, but they failed to see the reasons statistically that our basic education system is not working for the improvement of students. Recommendations were made specifically to improve facilities to the increase of funding for education, specifically the spending per student, because Philippines has the lowest spending per student in the Southeast Asia.